Give me 1 second. It's the whole thing is. Pause this. All right. So let me kill the music. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. This was a highly in-demand session. Can you hear me okay? Hi, Rekha, my fellow retreat person. So I am so glad all of you are here. I'm so excited to be sharing. So I'm planning to do this sharing, so to speak, as a two-part thing because there was one of the most intense experiences of my lifetime. And to do it justice, I want to not just go so fast and, like just go through the material, but I also want you to be able to absorb some of the material. And a lot of you have asked me how it was and this and that. So I just want to, in this particular session, I want to talk about my honest review of what this 7-day looked like for me, my experience. And then I also want to teach some of the stuff I know. And I just right off the bat, I want to go into this experience, letting you know that Dr. Joe at the end of the retreat, at the end of the 7 days, when we did this experience, he said, don't teach this work unless you are one of my students. Yes, we are officially after the retreat, we are considered advanced meditators. And I'll tell you why. But he was like, there is a whole organization that he has, which is called Neurochange. You can go on his website, Unlimited, and check it out. But the work that he does, he clearly feels very passionate about this, and he has done this for such a long time. I'll give you all those details. But I don't want to go into this experience telling you I'm going to teach you everything I learned, because 100% I will not do it justice, and he's asked us not to do that. But I want to share with you, because a lot of you are in my world in some form or the other, but I want to share with you in this part. This is part 1, so I'll do an honest retreat share and what my review and what my experience was. Lakshmi, you've been through this before. Rekha, you've been through this before. So I invite you to jump in with me and share what your stuff was too. So please, I want this to be an informal thing, not just me, sitting here and talking. So if you have questions, feel free to raise your hand. I want this to be like a discussion. I want you to, my intention for this is you get to know about his work. You get to know about my experience, how it changed me in so many ways, and what doing this work will do for you, right? We'll do that. And then in the second part of this, I want to teach you what I learned in the 7 days. Because if I try to crush all of that in a short amount of time, I don't think I will do you justice. It's going to be just too much overwhelming information. And I don't want to leave you with overwhelm, but I want you to leave with, oh, I remembered this. Oh, I already knew this. Oh, I do this. This is how I do stuff. And this is new stuff to learn, right? So thank you so much, first of all, for being here, for your time, your energy. I truly do not take that granted. I appreciate all of you so much. And you were in my thoughts when I was actually going through this process, because at the energy level, we're all one. And I'm like, I can't wait to come back and share all this stuff. So I truly appreciate you being here and wanting to hear more about how this experience was like for me. So Rekha, Lakshmi, just heads up, feel free to raise your hand and jump in and share what you want.
Are you planning to record, Gunjani, so that if
I'm
anyone
on
needs
YouTube. Thank you for reminding me. Let me just record it just to
so that
be
if somebody
more.
need it,
Right. Thank you, Raj. All right, so we're everywhere, but I just want to be safe. So thank you so much. And you know what? Let me see if I can do so I can see all of you. I don't know how to muck with all of that, so we'll just get started. So this was so I went to the Dr. Joe 7-day advanced meditation retreat. And I got into Dr. Joe's work just to give you a little bit of an idea of how his work impacted me and why I ended up going there and why I manifested it. And maybe you'll get ideas of what you want to do with this, right? So I got into his work in 2019 when I was going through major postpartum anxiety and depression. I was in a major people-pleasing phase. My marriage was completely in a conflict phase of my relationship. It was really almost like we were ready to... I was raising Avik with Avik was my only focus. He was 2 years old and nothing else mattered, because that's what I'd seen my mom do. We were her only focus her entire life. And even though as a therapist, I knew all these things, when I was in that role, when I showed up to that life, I lost track of who I was. And this whole experience just was very intense. So I was just living life day to day, not even knowing, just overwhelmed, feeling anxious, not in like just feeling so fearful, all the people pleasing tendencies, not saying the things I needed to say. This business was not even there. The coaching business and things that I do, I scaled my business much later, but I was a therapist. I was working 2 times a week because I wanted to. My intention was to be with Avik for he was 3 till he was 3, to be with him and be a mom that I had chosen to be. And then in that, I was feeling empty, I was feeling unfulfilled, and I was just like, oh, what's the point? Like, I'm just here, right? And I didn't, and then there came a point where I was literally yelling and screaming at him because I was so unfulfilled. And I'm like, being a trauma therapist, oh my God, I'm going to just traumatize him if I continue my parenting like this. And this is just going to be a big, giant disaster. I was feeling all of this, thinking all of this in my head, but didn't do anything about it, obviously. Because in my head, my self limiting belief was, I'm a therapist. I know I can do all this work on my own. I don't need to go someone. Or the other things I would also say, I don't have the money to pay someone. And clearly, I had a lot of money issues back then. And I had all these stories, and I would show up to life like that. And one day, my sister-in-law, she found Dr. Joe, and she gave me this book, his book called Breaking the Habit of Being You. I'm looking here because it used to be here. It's not here anymore, but Breaking the Habit of Being You. And that book 100% changed my life. So I got into his work, started watching his YouTube channel, started applying some of the things that I learned in his book, but not meditation or anything. I was doing other things, and then I was getting certifications step by step. I was not on Instagram, and when another event happened that changed me in that time, where there was a woman. I dropped him off to school one day. He turned 2. I dropped him off to daycare because until then it was just me and Avik doing all the things, taking care of him, taking care of my mother-in-law who had MS, and it was just we were just pouring out of an empty bucket, left, right, and center. And I dropped him off and I came back and I'm like, oh my God, like now what? The only thing I've known in the past 2 years is to be a mom. I don't know what else to do. What do I do with my life? And I just started bawling in my car, and it was rough. And I told my husband, I was like, you know what? Something needs to change. And while I was doing that, I was not on Instagram because I was used to be so triggered by all these picture perfect Pinterest moms. And I'm just like, my life is far from perfect, and I'm complete disaster, even though I know the things. So I was like, okay, I need to go on this journey and find myself through this. And I didn't think that till this happened. So I went on Instagram. I didn't even know what Instagram was back then. I didn't even know that post existed. I knew it was a platform that had just started to begin, and there were pictures and stories and all this stuff. I didn't even know anything, but I was scrolling through my feed, and one of my friends, or friend's friend, she was 30 years old, and she was also going through postpartum depression, and she died by suicide. And that really woke me up. That woke me up because I was like, oh my God, this feels like me. And she was Indian, so I could really relate. And I was like, oh my God, like I get what she's going through. So I really had to do something about it and break the habit of being me. And that's where my whole journey with Dr. Joe started. And I started watching his YouTube videos, started applying all this manifesting stuff that, of course, most of you know that I teach now. But it really went into high gear. First, I used to manifest to achieve things like I want this, and thus I'm manifesting. That's how I used to be. And then through this journey, I learned that that is not what manifesting is, that we don't manifest to achieve. We're always consciously or unconsciously manifesting. We are unconsciously manifesting what we don't want, or we're consciously manifesting what we desire and creating the life that we desire. That's what I learned through these 5 years. So as I started doing his work, I was like, okay, I didn't do all this intense meditation and stuff that he taught, but again, I was just open to his work. I was doing the work. I got certified in all these different things. I started practicing the work. I launched my own podcast back then. It was called Traumatic Transformations with Gunjani. And I started doing all of that. And in that, I was like, okay, I always used to know that I wanted to go to this retreat, that this concept existed. But again, my stories were, it's too expensive. I don't know who will take care of Avik because my parents live in India. So I don't know who will take care of him. I don't know, how I'll do it. Like how and when was what I was caught up in, which is most of us, right? And I was just like, okay, not available. So then fast forward till last year, I joined one of my mentors community, and he went to the whole Dr. Joe thing, and it just reignited that fire in me that, you know what, I know that I'm a powerful manifester. I know that I do all these things. I got certified in Ho'oponopono and EFT. I started running my communities. Thanks to Mitesh, so much changed by being in that mastermind, by being in that community. And I said to myself that I'm a powerful manifester, and I manifest going into this retreat for 7 days, but I want to take my husband with me. Because again, one of the things that I wanted, like I go do all this stuff and we have a very good, amazing relationship. Fast forward, all this work that I did changed my marriage, changed me, changed our relationship, right? I started putting myself first and everything around me changed. And as a result of that, I was like, okay, I don't want to go through this on my own because now Avik is 7 years old and I want him to do this work. But we have to model it. So I teach him breath work. I do all this stuff. And he's like, Mommy, girls do breath work. Mommy, girls meditate. And I'm like, Urgh. And then I go to Amit and I'm like, Amit, I need you to do this work. And he's like, he loves meditating. He's very emotionally intelligent. He's very emotionally resilient. Blah, 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 all the things I teach you guys, right? And I was like, I want to go to this retreat with my husband. I don't want to go on my own. Because I want him to model. Kids do what we say and model, not what we say, but do what we model. I truly believe that, having treated kids for so long and doing all the work, right? So I keep doing the work and I know that everybody around me changes. That's something that I have seen in my life over and over. So I asked Amit, planted a seed, but my whole affirmation around that, like it changed from so my earlier self-limiting beliefs around this, like it took me 5 years to get to this place, was, oh, who will take care of Avik? Oh, I don't have time. Oh, it's going to cost so much. Oh, will Amit come? Oh, how will this happen? How, right? Like opposite of manifesting. And thus, I was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So when I came back and he, like Mitesh talked about this, I was like, I am going to manifest going to Dr. Joe's in June. I don't know how. I don't know when. I'm going to this retreat. Like, I don't know how. And I'll tell you what changed and what this retreat was like. So I went into this experience like, okay, this is getting first of all very clear. Manifesting is a very big, like you have to have clarity on what you're calling in, because otherwise we're just living our old patterns, right? So I was like, I want to go with Amit. I want to be gone for a week. I want to be at peace when I'm gone. I want him to be with a source that really takes good care of me. And I don't want to micromanage and control when I'm there. I just want to switch off, plug out, and that's it, done. That was what I wanted. And I want the money for this because this was an investment. I really highly recommend every single one of you. Highly recommend this retreat. Highly recommend this retreat. If you can, it is a must go. It was his 58th retreat. He's been doing this for a while. So it was his 58th retreat. And it was one of the best experiences in the 7 days of my life. Like, I don't know how to put that in words, but it changed me just, and I'll tell you how it changed me. It was one of the most transformative experiences for me. And it was his 58th, but it was, and I really highly also recommend, if you're manifesting, go to Cancun, because Rekha told me that if you go to any other retreats, like Cancun is for one person it's $2,500 for 7 days. They cover breakfast, they cover lunch. You go and you do the whole 7 days with 2,000 plus people. At this point, there were 2,100 people at that retreat. And 75% of the people there were 100% new people, never been to retreat before. So imagine all of this world is waking up to doing the work, doing meditation, working on themselves. And people from literally all kinds of countries, 85 different countries, like countries I hadn't even heard about. I'm like, huh? Literally people, like most people brand new. Some people had done the work. Some people had been to his progressive 3-day retreat. Some people were just like 13th retreat. Like some people were just like, this was retreat number 13th. I'm like, they were retreataholics. Like it was nuts. I'm like, I don't know if I would go 13 times, but okay. So literally all kinds of people showed up, right? And the Cancun one was really good because it was by the beach. It was just so good because in this retreat, we did all kinds of things, and I'm going to tell you what we did. It was, so for the 2,500, you get lunch and breakfast covered. You get 7 days worth of work and all the things, right? And then you pay separate for your staying experiences. Ends up being $1,500 to $1,800 for that per person. And then the flights separate, all that stuff, right? So just to put it in a nutshell, it cost me almost $8,000 between the two of us. but I say this because if I were to have started this experience, like I'm manifesting going to this retreat, in the past, money was what stopped me because I was like, oh, 8,000, that's a lot. I'm not going to invest all this money. Do I need to spend on this money? Blah, blah, blah. I had all these money stories. So I was like, not now, not now. And I would just manifesting. I don't even know what that means when I did that. Like manifesting meaning you are still identified with your old personality and not with your new self, right? So we went to this experiences and oh my goodness, it was one of the best. Like now, so I really started working on my wealth mastery, like on my money stories, on really like working on what wealth means to me, what money means to me, what worthiness means to me, what spending on myself and doing this work and then teaching you guys means to me. All of that needed to happen before I got there. But before I got there, so I was working on all that stuff because to me, manifesting now means not hustling, not trying so hard, not worrying myself to that place, not, like stressing about it, not coming back and feeling dissatisfied because these were my patterns. So I'm just going to be honest about them. This was okay. I don't know if I should spend the money. I was like, I don't want to do any of that. I need my frequencies in check and I'm going to manifest exactly what I want to feel, how I want to feel, and what is my frequency because we know that people, situations, challenges, crises, and opportunities are only 10x's your patterns. So if my patterns were scarcity, if my patterns were dissatisfaction, if my patterns were lack related to money, that would have 10x'd. So I'm like, let me work on just being happy. Let me work on just being like, yay. And that 10x to, oh my God, this was one of the best experiences of my life. I didn't want, like, I used to invest in myself and spend all this money on myself and my family in terms of not vacations, but like doing personal self-development because I'm just that person who invests. And now, in the past, when I told you in 2019, I'm like, oh my God, $200, that's a lot. And that has changed. Now my relationship to money is super tight. Now my relationship to money is sacred. Now my relationship to money is if I spend this much, 10x comes back to me with ease, effortlessness, and quickly. I'm not available for any stress when it comes to money. And that changed. I had to work on all of that. So when the time came, like when I was literally eyeing, because they say, like, as soon as his retreats open up, they get booked within a day or two. Literally, like, boom, they just get booked. So you have to be like, jump on it. That's what I'd heard, right? In some of the circles and Facebook groups and this and that. So I was like, oh, June. I was going to go to the one in Denver in July. So this month is in Denver. And part of me was like a little planning because I was like, again, that's not manifesting, but it was planning. That, you know what, whatever, I surrender. I've gone to this retreat. Like now manifesting means I take intuitively aligned action. I live as if it's already done. Like I am going to this retreat with Amit. I don't know how Avika's taken care of. And that's how I was living and I just let it go. And I was like, when my guidance comes, when my download comes, when I'm like, go book, I will go do it. And I trust that everything else will be in check. I don't care. Like I track my patterns every day. So I bought his progressive course in January, because every January I'm like, every December Amit and I sit down and plan our entire year. What is our intention for this year as a couple, as a relationship? What do we want to do? What went well this year? What didn't go well? We have those conversations. So this year I'm like, I want us to go to a retreat. We were in Greece and we had this conversation. I'm like, I really want to go to Dr. Joe this year. I don't know how, but you're a part of it. And he's like, I am? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, okay, all right. And he was just like, didn't even care. He didn't even know who Dr. Joe. He knows, but didn't know to this extent. He didn't even meditate. Like he didn't do any of that. And we were in Greece, and I was like, I'm going to buy this progressive course, his progressive course. By the way, no need to buy. Any of you who wants to start doing this work, just reach out to me. I'll let you know the next steps. Don't go out there and start buying right now. I have easy hacks for you. So the progressive course, it's like a 3-day course that he did in Barcelona that is available online. I bought it. I watched it. There are like 12 modules. I started going deeper into his work. I didn't want to do, like, I'm like, if I want to make money, I don't want to be stingy about spending money on me. I don't want to feel scarce, not worthy about spending money. Like $400, I'm it. Like it 10 times come back. I don't know how. And literally the more I started spending on myself, my clients increased. The amount of people that started coming in my community increased. My focus shifted from money to serving. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. And I literally did his progressive, and there are 5 meditations in his progressive course. So I started doing that every day. I was doing it. I was waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning and just showing up, like showing up and doing the things. So that whole thing lasted for 3-4 months, and then kind of life happened, and I stopped doing it. So I'm going to be honest, and I'll tell you what happens and what happens to us, right? Why that happens to us. So I was doing his meditations. In that, I attracted all kinds of money, all kinds of clients. I started having intuition about my business scaling, growing. It is not exactly where I had intended, but again, I am going through it with ho jayega, ho gaya. This is so good. Like, I'm having fun doing it. I'm relaxed about it. I'm not like, like of course there are times that I go through ups and downs in my business and scaling and how to do it and how. But I was like, no, it just brings me back into what is he teaching? What am I practicing? Where is my frequency not aligned? Where are my beliefs and my perceptions and my emotional, elevated emotions, all the things he taught in that course? I started practicing. And then June came, planning, like March, April came. So I was like, Amit, I just want to give you a heads up. We're going to this retreat. And he's like, okay, will you go? Yeah. I'm like, huh? Because one of my affirmations was, as soon as I broached this to Amit, he's very easily influenced by me. He loves supporting me. And then I'm like, Amit, why are you going to this retreat? You have no clue who Dr. Joe is or what to do. Are you going to meditate? And he's like, I'm just doing it to support you. I'm like, oh, I love you so much. Oh, okay, fine. You don't even know it's about to hit you. Dr. Joe will do the work on you. I don't need to. I just need to get you there, but everything else he'll do. So he was like, all right. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to eye on this thing. Came June. I wanted to go to the July one. And then something happened. Like I said, I only take intuitive aligned action. I don't force things anymore. I want ease in my life. It has to be easy. It has to be intuitive. It has to be aligned. And it has to feel just like, thank you for that whisper. I as someone with a lot of anxiety, it took a lot of work to get here to this place of surrender. It took a lot of work to, which now I teach a lot of you, to be in this place of, oh yeah, take only intuitive aligned actions. What does that even mean? It took a lot of work to be in that place. He teaches that on day 7. So I was like, all right, we're going to go. So did it, booked it. Somehow the money for it showed up. And one of the other things though, Avik was my thing. So I called one of my friends and I asked her, I was like, hey, will you take care of Avik? And she's like, no, we're going to London. I'm like, snap, what? Like, who's going to take care of him? Then I called my sister and I'm like, hey, will you come and take care of him? Sure. She lives in India. My family lives in India. And she said, okay, if it's in June, I can come. July, I can. I'm like, okay, good. Amit, we're going in June. And then he's like, what is in June? Cancun, even better. He was like, oh, Cancun will be better than Denver. I'm like, okay, fine. So we ended up going to Cancun. It was so fun. So I highly recommend Cancun. It's all inclusive. Everything is covered, everything. Because when you go to other retreats, you end up buying dinner. They pay for lunch and breakfast. If that's what you want, then great. And it doesn't matter which one you go to. You have to do what works for you and your family. But this was like just completely unplugging, which is what he wants. He didn't give us anything. He was not like, because a lot of people like, what should we take? What are we going to do every day? His whole thing is like, we need to tap into the unknown. So you're not going to know anything. Just come in without any expectations. You're going to just be. And that's the intention that I went to this retreat with. I didn't want to know. I didn't care. I completely trusted Dr. Joe and his work. And I was just like there to have fun and there to transform. That was my intention. There to have mystical experiences. I set an intention for myself and we went. We went in. So she came, started taking care of him, and we went. The first day, we got there on Saturday. The retreat is from Monday. Or no, we got there on Sunday. The retreat is from Monday evening. So you register in the whole thing. Oh my God, you guys. I can't tell you, because he's done this for 58th retreat, right? I don't know. Like, his team has it so well done. Like, there were so many people and moving so many people. Like, they literally are planned out till 29 because they're like, we go in for monthly. He's like, I'm not a Zoom guy. You'll never see me doing stuff on Zoom and online. I'm an in-person guy. I'm a retreat guy. That's what I do. And I'm like, okay. And he's like, we're booked out till 2029 because we literally go in and buy an entire hotel. Like, they just block the entire hotel. So you have to buy the rooms and stuff from them. They block the whole thing and then you buy from them. It ends up being much cheaper with the whole inclusive everything and all the things. And it's much more easily organized because throughout the whole thing, they break you for different things and do different things. So everything, like the hotel staff, like I guess he's done Cancun a couple times and few years. It was so well done. It was like you literally go in, but it was the check-in, the registration for the event, the hotel check-in, so seamless. Like a little bit waiting here and there, and like that happens, but it was so flawless on how this entire event for 2100 people was planned. Very well done. I was like, wow, because I have run retreats in the past, and I'm like, this is something to learn in terms of event management and organizing. And obviously his people, his director of events is also his old student, and she practices all this work, and everything just happens from the quantum. In their field, everything is like just chill, easy, love. That's it. That's what they do. Like you show up and that's what they embody, and that's what, like, you can just feel being in that whole experience. Just, this is going to be so good. Like we went in and it was just like, so we started at 5 o'clock, the 5:30, and then the first day he gave the lecture for 2-3 hours. I don't want to tell you all the things because then you're going to know everything to go in with. I want to tell you enough where and to keep this in your manifesting, that this is the experience you're going to go into and this is the experience. But I don't want to tell you play by play. I'll tell you the things I learned and it taught me so that you can learn from it, and hopefully you start learning some of his stuff. But I don't want to tell you play by play because then it'll ruin it. Like the best part was that we didn't know. We were just sitting there. We were all given chairs, and the whole time we were just doing our thing. And the whole thing to me felt so seamless. So like every day was present day at a time, because one of the things he teaches in progressive, and he expects you to watch that, most people don't, but that you have to do a quiz before you go and the whole thing. And it was just like I had done the work before I went in, because I wasn't just trying to be another seeking, I need this and I seek this and I want this and do that. And I didn't want any of that. Like in the past, I used to go in seeking, needing, I need this to change my life. No, everything that I need is within me. And so is it in all of you. You don't need this retreat to change. You can change before that, and you'll change even for the better and learn new things. But one of his biggest things, my biggest takeaway from this was, I don't know which day he said that, Rekha, correct me if I'm wrong. One of the things he's like, I maybe I heard this on the last day, or maybe he just kept saying it every day or in the meditations. Create from wholeness. Don't create from desperation. Don't create from lack. Don't create from needing. Don't create because you seek everybody else's opinion and stuff and blessings and all the things. Then you're creating from lack. You're creating from powerlessness. You're disconnected from the love within you. You're disconnected from the source within you. And thus you're just hustling through life. You're not manifesting. You're manifesting unconsciously what you don't want. Create from wholeness. And it's like, what are you talking about? What does that even mean? I'll tell you what that means. But for right now, it was just like, wow, yeah. I didn't need this retreat, but this retreat was just like, whoa, how its feelings during and after. I'll tell you. So we go in the first day, we start. So within the 7 days, literally, and I'm going to tell you what happened. I'm not going to, like I said, I don't want to give you play by play, but I'll tell you a little bit of what we did. So first day we go in, we start this. He does the Blessing the Energy Center meditation. It was like, because I had done that in progressive. So it was good because I was like, wow, this feels good. Like even at 8 o'clock at night, we felt so energized. Like his voice, 2,100 people, being in that field of so many people doing the same work. Everybody was so nice and kind. We go in, I was like jumping and dancing and blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, is this a retreat, like meditation retreat? But it just felt so fun. It was just so good. We got there. Rekha also went there with me. She was there the whole time. One of our other friends, Ashwini, and her husband went. So we were all sitting together. We were seated together. We are also a part of a study. So we signed up to be a part of our study because I'm very research junkie. Like I love supporting research. I love knowing what happens in this. I love learning from research. I'm just very neuroscience nerdy like that. So I had, signed up to be a part of the whole experience. I was like, Amit, do you want to be a part of this experience? He's like, absolutely not. I'm like, okay, fine, no problem. No forcing. I don't force. I just do what I want. So Rekha was, we were just having fun. It didn't matter. So we became a part of that study, and they gave us a Garmin watch. So basically, it tests how much you're sleeping, what your brain states are, how much did you walk, your exercises, how much did you sleep, like your heart rate, your stress levels, all of that stuff. It measured, and I wanted to know like what, because this is their 58th retreat. If each retreat every month has 2,100 people maxed out, I want to know what the data is saying, right? Like I want to know what's happening to these people when they go to retreat. What is so different about this retreat than anybody else, right? So I was the first day was blessing the energy centers. Second day we go in every day. It started at 6 o'clock. We went till 8 o'clock every night, and literally it did not feel like, so on day one we did 3 meditations, right? Like first thing in the morning he teaches, then there is meditation. Then you break out and you go for lunch. He'll give you time to eat lunch, hang out, like so many people. So it's very well organized. There were like so many different rooms and so many different restaurants and so much. So it's like everybody's food and everything was accommodated. He's so funny. He's like really a good teacher. I loved his teaching style. We went in there, so lunch, and then we go in again, some teaching, drop in. Literally in that meditation, I wish that I had taken more notes. It occurred to me on the day 3 or 4 that I was like, oh, maybe I should write all this down, what my experiences are, because all kinds of stuff I was seeing in my meditations. Like every meditation was an hour long, and there was music and his voice, and he guides you, and everybody, like, we just put a yoga mat on the floor, and we take our blankets with us, and I was sitting down. So some meditations are sitting down, some meditations are lying down, some meditations are, in the beginning he doesn't let you lie down because he's like, I don't want you going to sleep. It's like that doesn't happen until much later. And then some meditations are walking because he's like, I want you to become this version of you after this retreat, so you don't go back to this old version of you. Like maintain this state even as you are walking and in your life. So there are some meditations that were walking meditations. On the first day that didn't happen because he was just getting us used to. Literally in the second day, second meditation, oh my god, I don't remember. Go ahead, Rekha.
Sorry, I interrupted you. So first
No,
day,
please.
first day, I think so. You forgot to mention this.
Yeah,
That was
thank
only
you. I forget a lot, so thank you.
registration. So registration from like 2 to 6, and then 6 to 9 he took some
6 to 9, yeah.
yeah, and
Yeah,
then
so on the
second
first
day he
day,
started the
yeah.
meditation.
Actually, the first day we did blessing the energy center. So he taught, and then we had a meditation after that. So he was like, "What to expect?" Like I literally have like 5 pages of notes from the first day, which I want to teach all of you. And it was just like, what? That is so. There's so much stuff. I'm gonna go over some of that before we end, like the first day, and then I'm gonna do a part 2 of this, so that way you guys know what we did, because I want to, like I said, teach you too. But in the first day, I was like, blessing the energy center, like the chakra healing that you do in our communities, right? Very powerful, but it was not very like wow to me personally. The second day, the second meditation was wowzer to me, because the first meditation, again, it was blessing the energy centers. We went and did we do breakfast before or after? I don't remember. Breakfast before or after?
Before
At 6 o'clock.
breakfast, yeah, before breakfast, then breakfast, then again one meditation, then teaching, then at end of the day again meditation. So 3
Yeah.
meditations.
So there were 3 meditations like that. Like breakfast, they did it so well. It was like, obviously you don't want to go in full stomach and meditate. So he would teach, then he would meditate, and then you go and eat. Then again, come and learn, come and meditate, and go eat again. Again, third, same thing, till 8 o'clock. And then one day I was like, man, how does Dr. Joe have so much energy? Like by the last meditation, which ended at around 8 o'clock at night, and we started at 6 o'clock, right? We would start with all this jumping and dancing and having fun and blah blah blah. And I was like, man, he has a lot of energy. And a lot of people tell me that. I didn't realize that. Like it finally the light bulb went on the third or fourth day, because he was like, how was your day? That was such a good day at work, wasn't it? And I'm like, huh? Doesn't feel like work to me, because I was on a retreat, but to him, it's like full blown. He shows up and we start work, right? But then it occurred to me, like, he's so passionate about his work. He's so passionate about teaching. He's so passionate about Like, this is his mission, changing people's lives. So he's like going, like he wouldn't stop. We would be like, oh, I'll tell you some of those experiences for me too. That was just like, oh my God. Rekha and I both went through that. That comes later. But it was just like, he was so passionate. Like, he was just, wow, amazing. And that's what was like, wow, this man could just go on for 24 hours. He's like an energizer bunny. The second meditation for me was just like, wow. So one of the things that I saw in that meditation, I don't remember which one that was. They gave us a whole thing of all the meditations we did. I'm more than happy to share it with all of you. But I think it was like something related to space time or something. And in that meditation, I saw personally, I was like, all my ancestors came, my nani who had passed due to COVID, my mama who had passed very early on in life when I was 9. One of my other best friends' mom who had passed came into that vision. One of my only father-in-law who has passed also came into that vision. Even Amit had the same experience. It was just like I was bawling through the whole thing. I was just so much tears of gratitude. It was just the energy in the room was palpitating. And the thing that came to me was, my God, like, and one of the things he says is like, the source is within you. And I'm just like, what? And when you're so deep down, and he was guiding us through that, in my head a thought popped, oh my God, I am the source. I've spent so much of my lifetime wasting my precious energy, the precious present moment, on so much stupid shit. Like, it was such a waste of time. Why? It was literally like, the source is within you. Stop wasting time and just keep feeling love. We are here with you. You're guided. You're supported. Like, I saw all kinds of visions. Because again, there's a whole thing like at alpha and theta. When you are in alpha theta brain states, you start seeing visions. I have practiced this in my breath work for a long time. So I see things. I feel things. I don't hear things, but intuitively, when I'm guided, I hear it. I don't feel it. I that's what happens. So in my meditation, I was like, man, wow. Like, it almost was like, it was not knowing, but it was like remembering that I am the creator of my life. What am I sweating about? Why did I waste, like, not why as in a bad way, like beating yourself, you're a piece of crap self. It was just like, wow, I have so much love for all the life that I've lived. I'm so grateful for the life that I'm living. I'm so grateful. Like, it's not like he was making us do 10 random gratitude, but now it makes sense that it was just, I was bawling, and it just felt so many tears of joy and so many tears of just gratitude, of just sit back, relax, life has got you. And I'm like, oh my God, my root chakra, most of my life, which is trust for life, I have worked really hard to have trust for life, because I was just always trying to be in control, always fixated, always worried, always anxious, always fearful. Those used to be my patterns, not anymore. But not because of this retreat, but like I said, I changed my patterns before I went to this, because I didn't want what I went into 10xing. I wanted what I felt 10xing. The gratitude that I felt was just, whew, but that's how I live my life now. So it just 10x. It was just like, wow, like, this can't get better. And it just kept getting better and better and better and better, because the whole curriculum of the retreat is designed to stack on top of each other. Because he's like, if I start making you do the mystical experiences the very first day, I'm going to lose 75% of this room. You're not ready for it. You're so identified with the victim. You're so identified with all the shenanigans. Like, literally, there were so many people there with cancer, like all kinds of people with so many terminal illnesses. And it's beautiful to see how he walks all of us, through this 7 days, all of us in the same boat, in different phases, and different phases of consciousness. And just, it's beautiful how he just takes everybody through that experience. And obviously everybody comes there for different things. Like, I remember at the end of the day, one woman was talking about, I came there to find love. Like, I've been wanting to attract a man and this and that. And she's like, oh my God. So she was talking about her experience in the bus, and it was just so beautiful. Like, everybody's experience was obviously their own, but the way he takes you through those experiences were just phenomenal. So first day I saw that, and then there's a whole teaching and stuff around it. So I'll talk about it. I don't want to keep going for 3 hours. So we'll talk about it in the next class. But so first day was that. Then Rekha, would you like to add anything else to the second day? Not first day, second day. I should say second day.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't remember a first day or second day. I got experience like very emotional experience. I connected with my neighbor's son. Like he passed away in that plane crash, the
Yeah, yeah. That
India
recently
London
happened in
plane
India.
crash.
Yeah,
Yeah, he used
yeah,
to live
yeah.
in he used to live in my next door in India. So he passed away with his wife and three kids. And he came to me and I can see him and he said, Didi, can you please convey my message to my parents? We are in safe place and we are in very beautiful place. I was so much, and 2 days I got same experience. And third day, my dad sent me his father's number. I don't know how. Then I thought I should tell them. Then I called them and I conveyed that
I have
message.
like full body goosebumps right now.
His mother was crying, crying, crying. I sat and in that experience, I met with him and he's told me, Didi, can you please convey my message to my parents? So that's why I'm telling you. That experience was so like,
Right? It
of,
was just
yeah, yeah,
like
because
even when I shared
we
my,
were
go ahead.
like, we are connected with souls and all the pure energies and all these things.
Pure consciousness. That's what he
Yeah,
calls
pure
it.
consciousness. And that message was, oh my God, it's very emotional.
Oof, so powerful.
Yeah.
And there's a whole teaching to why this happens and all this stuff, but it was just like everybody had their own experiences, but it was just like this inner remember, like since then it's like they're my spirit guides and they're always with me, and I'm like, oh my God, there is no separation. One of the biggest things that he said, is it okay if I elaborate on that a little bit on the first day one, because I want to teach you about this, like I said, but I want to tell you some highlights that I took on. Yes, because I know we're limited. I want to go for 15 more minutes, but I want to just. So one of the things that he started out the whole thing, like the 6 to 9 experience on day one, that evening, was he started out because he expects you to know all the things in progressive, because you get progressive for free when you sign up for this retreat. The volume of yours is low. Is it low? Is my volume low? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Yeah. Arya, it might be at your end.
Uh, Generally, your volume is little low always. If you have the headset, then it's
Rekha
good.
volume is louder than yours.
Oh, really? Oh.
That's why I asked you.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I'll have to fix that for next time. I don't know how to change it right now, but that's good to know. Okay. Okay. So one of the things, does this make any difference? One of the things that happened, one of the things that he taught was, right, like we on the day one, there's a step by step to this whole process. He expects us to do the whole progressive, like what are beliefs, how your beliefs impact, how your emotions impact. But in this advanced meditation, he goes a little deeper, right? So he's like, most people live life where it's like fear, self-doubt, impatience, agitation, pain, suffering, control, regret, entitlement, discourage, all those emotional patterns, right? Like low frequency emotional pattern, unpleasant emotional patterns that are so identified with suffering. So his whole thing is belief, behave, and become. And he's like, fear is the opposite of the love that we are. It is the separation from the love that we are. We're not seeking love, we are love, but we have all these patterns that just are so piled up on it that we're just separated from the love within. And thus we are creating the present moment. Either we choose to create from the past. Most of us, just 95% of us after 35 years age, we just 70,000 thoughts we have a day. They're created from the past. Unless we are conscious, he's very big on self-awareness, and one of the big parts of emotional intelligence is self-awareness, right? In this present moment, we can either create from the past or choose to create the future. We're either unconscious and just repeating the past. We don't even know. He's like, the body follows the mind. You just go to the brush, go drive from one place to other. Half the time we're just unconscious, right? If you're in our communities, you do the work, so you're not that unconscious, fortunately. But most of us are just unconscious. We are not awake to life. So he's like, anger, hatred, opposite, and separating from love. Anything that's not love has to die. His biggest thing. He's like, this retreat you change. By that, we saw data, research, all the things. Where literally going to this retreat ages you younger by 1 year. And they showed us data on that. And I'll tell you what changes. Your genetic expression changes, your gut microbiome. Your gut is your sacral, your just second center, where 95% of your serotonin levels, so feel good, happy hormones, that is in SSRIs and antidepressants, are in your gut. When we stress, when we are fearful, when we are constantly anxious, when we're unconscious to life, we're just killing all those good bacteria. So they, in their past retreats, they made people take fecal samples and all this blood work and all this. In our retreat, they didn't, but they had all this data from studying thousands of people that should be on their website. If you go on their Unlimited, there's a whole research component to it, and there's a whole research science. Their whole institution is called Inner Science, like whole thing. And he's like, your gut microbiome changes, your biology changes, your hormones changes, your stress level changes, your cortisol level changes, your microbiome changes. What else did he say? What else? Genetic expressions changes, your genetics changes, everything changes. Like you're a whole new person, but you're meditating for 38 hours straight, for 7 days straight, and you're not in your environment, because one of the things he says, your environment triggers your biology. So if we are in the same place with the same people doing the same thing, we're feeling triggered left, right, and center. And guess what? We're not emotional, doing daily emotional tracking. Same crap 95% of the day. And we were like, we want a different future. Of course, if you take yourself out of that and sit and meditate with 2,100 very nice, positive people, most of them, you're going to change. But there is data that now shows that, right? Your oxygen level changes. I mean, so much changes in your body chemistry. So he's like, you are the creator of life, something that you already know. Like all of this stuff that I'm telling you, he's like, you already know this stuff. You are the source. All the wisdom you need is within you. But the emotional patterns that we have continued, that's suffering, the identification with the past is what just disconnects us from the love that we are. And that's why we have to meditate every day. So my intention was not just to go to this retreat and my life change and talk about it. Actually come and do this every day. Because first I was like, and I also think I was doing pineal gland wrong, because then the third day was about same thing, boom, 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 and on third day, so we did this meditation called Kaleidoscope at the end of day 3. It was a really fascinating experience where it makes you see all these graphic images. It puts you in a state of trance. There's his whole story that he talks about. I'll talk about it when I teach you the teachings and what it does and how his story and all of that in the next class. But day 4, this is what happened. Oh my God. Like talk about when he was like, your hormones changes. And I'm like, Literally on day 4, I was like, I went to the morning class, but I had a slight headache. But the whole time I'm like, I'm so sorry, headache. I'm focusing on relief, telling you all the things that I teach you guys, right? Like I was tapping while I was like, we were seated in the first row, because every day you sit in a different place. They have, again, organized that so well. So everybody gets to be near the stage by him. And then in the back, and everybody rotates throughout the 7 days. So we were literally sitting in the front row, and I was like tapping because I just had a massive headache. And I don't like most of the time taking medications. I just do Ho'oponopono and do all the things and chakra healing and all the things. And I was trying, and it was just, I had a massive headache that wouldn't go away. So then he taught some stuff about the whole kaleidoscope thing that he was going to do later on in the day. And I just had a headache. So I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to hustle. I'm not going to do all the things I used to do in the past. I literally used to have migraine headaches 10 years ago, like massive migraine headaches. But back then I know that my nervous system was very dysregulated. I didn't do all this work. And especially right before my lunar monthly cycles, I would start getting headaches. So I knew it was time. But this time I didn't know it was time, but I was just getting this headache. So I was like, I'm just going to listen to my body and just go to my room and just sleep. And then I will take a nap, and I'll see by evening, because that's when, like, there's this other thing that they do called coherence healing. I'll tell you what that is in a bit, but it's a very powerful, and part of me, I normally never have FOMO, like fear is not my pattern anymore, but I was like, I want to go be there for the people, right? And a part of me was like, oh my God, you put your own mask on first. You can't even think straight right now. What are you going to heal others? You're right. And literally I was just in my room. I was like, I napped. I did Ho'oponopono. I was doing all kinds of things, but it wasn't working. And I was like, anybody had Tylenol? So Rekha thankfully had Tylenol, and I finally took Tylenol and it got better.
I had feeling something.
She was feeling the same thing that day. Like, you want to share about your hormonal experience?
Yeah, my legs was aching and stomach and everything. I don't like feel like what's happening with me? Like everything has changed
Ooh-wee.
so much.
All that stuff was just surfacing. It was nuts. It was just like all this pain, all this stuff, all this hormonal. Like you can literally feel like your hormones are changing. I'm like, this hasn't happened to me in such a long time. Like, what is happening right now? And I'm like, when he says hormones are changing, body is changing, he doesn't care about that. It is the truth. Like, it was intense. And I didn't go. I took a Tylenol. I chilled out. I just kept doing Ho'oponopono. And I'm like, I was feeling so bloated. Like, I haven't felt bloated in a long time. I'm like, what is happening right now? And then next day, I get my lunar cycle. And I'm like, oh, wow. I have done graphotherapy, all kinds of things. Like, it was healed. I was like, my emotional patterns are stable. I'm stable throughout it was, all that work went out the window. I'm like, whew. And then I felt great. And then next day, so coherence healing is the thing that he does, his retreat does, where if you are going through any terminal illness or even something like they had a whole bunch of kids come in because they support this Mexican orphanage. They support prisons. They support all kinds of people in Latin America and across the world. His organization that is philanthropy is called Give to Give. And coherence healing is about, let's say, so when you first fill out the application to go to this retreat, they ask you, would you like to be a Healy or, would you like to be a Healy? Or they ask you about your medical records, conditions. They literally ask you like 80 plus questions, just heads up. Like Ashwini was filling it out and she's like, oh my God, this keeps going and going and going. And I'm like, I know. And, it's like, but then we were happy to see all the data and all the research. So now it makes sense because they take all this information from you, your demographics, your medical information, your this, that. So they know who you are when they show up and then they pile all that data together. And then, of course, they can tell you changed after a whole week, right? Like, in your body, you can feel. But I like seeing papers and studies and research and all that. So it was like, whoa, this is actually happening to me right now as we are doing. Like, a part of me was like, FOMO, like, I want to go. And I was like, no, I'm not going to people please. I'm going to take care of me. My body needs rest. I'm not going to go. It's okay. I'll catch up tomorrow. And we went next day and it was just fine. And then the following day, so coherence healing. Coherence healing was about, so you sign up to be a Healy. And then part of me was like, oh, I'm going to sign up to be a Healy. And then I asked myself, I'm like, I don't want to be a Healy to, like there were so many people who have cancer, MS, ALS, terminal, all kinds of this and that. I'm like, I don't qualify. Because one of the things that they say, our medical team will call you if you qualify. And I'm like, my issues are nowhere near anything. So I'll just be a healer. So it's like, if you're not a Healy, you're a healer. That's just what ends up happening. So on the fourth day, at the end of the meditation, all the things, you do this concept called coherence healing. The coherence healing, most of you are in my world, so you know what the power of 8 or setting an intention or having a thought and then aligning your elevated emotions and heart-brain coherence and opening your heart and, having all this healing. So he walks you through, it's like a meditation that he walks you through. But the whole idea is the power of intention is squared when you do it in the collective of 8 or more, right? Like, and their Maharishi effect and all that is also, the research is already there on it. They've also done research on coherence healing. There's just not enough funding yet that they can prove it, but the very skeptical Hemal Patel, Dr. Hemal Patel, who is very analytical, he's like, I didn't believe in all of this, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I want to do more research on coherence healing and how it actually impacts people. Because he has people come into his San Diego little lab and things that he's seen change in terms of temperature when the coherent healers came in and just healed cells, not people, just cells that were there in like a $20,000 fridge that he keeps all his specimen in. And it was very interesting. He's a pharmacologist, PhD. So it was quite interesting. So in coherence healing, you go in, you were chosen, we were a study, so we had one person. Normally everybody rotated, but the study people, they wanted to study and see. So my person, we were in different pods with 8 different people from around the world, and we were assigned to be with someone. My person had 4th degree cancer, 4th phase cancer, metastasizing, and he was from Austria, I believe. Him and his wife came. So all 3-4 days, we were just healing him. And we go in and we just, raise our vibration on the day 4th or 5th, one of the days. Every day, it's like, what is time? After day 3, when he teaches you space and time, it's like, what is time? There's no such thing as time. And I'll tell you all that when I teach you all that. We, in the 3D, create from matter to matter, time to time, and this is not happening, and all that stuff. In the quantum, it's like, there's no time. Everything is what you want is already happened. The version of you that you choose to be is already there. You just have to tune your frequency I know I don't make sense to some of you, but that's okay. We'll teach you to talk to you about that in a second. But on that day of coherence healing, we went in, we raised our vibration, and then everybody just sits around the people. And so Ashwini had similar experience as Rekha and I. She had a bad cramps, like bad cramps. She hadn't had those cramps in a long time. All of a sudden, she's like, I was like, are you sure you don't want to go and rest? And she's like, yeah, I'll go do coherence healing. She went in, 20-minute experience, not even that long. It's like boom, boom, right? We go, raise our frequency, heal. And literally in that process, she was fine after she gave coherence healing to the person we were with. Her and I were in the same pod with the same person, with the same cancer person. It was fascinating. It was like, oh, we met him, and it was just so many tears of joy. And they went through the whole experience with us, and everybody. Like, there were literally 50 youth, like 13 to 17-year-olds, whose parents had invested in them because he's really wanting to investing in youth to do this work. So there were all these people, 13-year-olds, 17-year-olds, sitting there for 5 hours. Like on day 5th, we did 5-hour meditation. He called us at 4 o'clock, and we were there till 9 o'clock. And literally, time passed, and we didn't even know how fast the time passed. Like, we were literally sitting, lying down, watching kaleidoscope, sitting, lying down. What? That whole lying down, sitting down, sitting down, watching kaleidoscope. That whole thing lasted for 5 hours of so many different things. And it didn't even feel like 5 hours went by. Normally it would be like 5-hour meditation. You go in there, and I was like, 4 o'clock. I know I'm going to be like zapped by 2 or 3. No, we went till 8 o'clock. Last coherence healing happened at 8 o'clock. And we were just like, oh my God, so energized. Like, sleep was not even a thing. But because we know from research that meditation means, when you do deep meditations like this, it's like your body resting for 3-4 hours. So you don't need sleep. You need just stillness. We are always on the go, and trying to manifest. And then we think we'll get it, and then we'll just stop going. No, it's our pattern. We'll keep going. If we don't teach ourselves stillness, if we don't teach ourselves to do this work, it will not stop, because we will not stop being who we are, breaking the habit of being you. It is true. So that was really fascinating for me. Then anything else you want to add to that, Rekha?
Walking meditation.
Oh, those were intense. So walking meditation. So there were 4 different walking meditations. They made us download an app, and they gave us 4 different walking meditations to do. Each day had a theme. So first day was like a prayer of evocation and invocation, because his whole thing was, I want you guys to not stop breaking the habit of being you. You changed in 2 days. You're going to keep going. So even in your walking awake life, you're just going to be nothing, no one, source, connected. Like, I want you to be in this state of just going through life and still being in this state, not forgetting who you are and going back to your old self, being in the state. Second day meditation was about heart and body conditioning. Walking again, it was so powerful. It was just like, wow, like everything that I want. Like, people are crying, like all kinds of pictures and stuff. I'll show you guys. It was intense, but it was so good. That's when, like, Rekha, I think on second meditation, one of the things that we had done, he's like, what are you, like, day 3, you start creating. First 3 days, you're just cleaning and cleansing and releasing and recentering and balancing all your centers and all the things. And on day 2 or 3, somehow, we were like, let's manifest something small. Because he's like, what would you like to create? Everything exists in the quantum. And I'm like, okay, what would we like to create? And we both unconsciously had manifested seeing him live, right? Like in front of us, right? She had done that. So in her walking meditation, without anything, boom, right in front of her. And she gave him a giant hug, and it was her birthday that day. It was so fascinating. She was like, oh my God, Dr. Joy. And he's like, can I? Because he has his team of people and his security guards and stuff walking with him and all the things, because he's like, I'm watching you. And then he just ended up hugging her. And then I'm like, oh my God, like, I had asked for the same thing. And in one of my mama walking meditations, I saw him. And it was like so fascinating. We locked eyes, and I was like, oh, like, to me, to just prove to myself how time doesn't matter, how space, to me, I'm like, hey, if it happens, it happens. No, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, whatever. But it was a game that I was playing with myself, and it was so fascinating to just, hi, like, while we were walking, and just being in that state of, I'm walking, being the person already as if it's done. I'm not needing it. I'm not chasing it. I'm not detaching and surrender. So on day 6th and 7th is big about surrender. It's big about, coherence and all of that. It just goes deeper and deeper each day. with each meditation. Like even pineal gland, I think I was doing it, and then he shows this whole row of students, like 10 students. They all do different things in terms of pineal gland. But he's like, you thought I was watching you. You thought you were doing pineal gland, right? You weren't. What is this? This is not breath. And it was just like, oh my God. And when we saw them, they were like all twitching and like boom, in gamma states, like dropped in deep creation state so fast, because clearly they've done it for almost a decade with him. And that taught us, like, we're doing our pineal gland long. So I'm going to teach all of you how to do pineal gland in a bit. Some of you already do it, so there's that. So yeah, that was intense. Walking, the third day it was walking as a mystic. Fourth day it was, what was the fourth day? I don't remember the exact fourth day, but it was walking meditation something. So since coming home, I've been doing those every day, and they've been really, really powerful. It just feels like you show up to life so much better. You just that change hasn't left me. It only deepens. It only, like in one meditation, like I was even meditating in the plane when we were coming back, because we had a 5-hour flight and a 3-hour, and both the flights they were like, your wife? And it's like, no, she's busy meditating. So the person, the flight attendant, was like, okay. But it just feels so fun now. It feels so aligned. It feels so guided. It feels like I'm showing up to life much more happier, much more connected, much more. I'm seeing all kinds of things in my meditation. I want to talk about it, but we've been here for quite some time. But I want to open for questions. Does anyone have any questions?
I would like to add something. So after
Please.
coming back from that meditation retreat, I feel like so much love and so much happiness inside me, like without any reason. I felt like
Right?
smile on my face. Like I don't know why. I'm thinking like I'm on drugs or something. Why I'm doing like that?
You are. Oh, that's one thing that he also shared, actually. And he showed us all this research on, right? That our body, when we meditate like that, when we are very pineal gland meditation, our body, the reason why that meditation was 5 hours long is because he'll say things like, because he teaches this whole thing, which I'll talk to you guys about it in the next times, but he teaches this whole thing about melatonin, serotonin, and how our body produces all this pharmacology when we are in those states, when we know exactly what we're doing. That's why his whole pineal gland thing is such a big thing, that it produces all these chemicals that we already have within. When you are meditating, when you're doing pineal gland, you are changing your body's chemistry. Like he'll say beta carboline, and you're like, oh, beta carboline is being released in my head. Like, the whole hormone changes that I talked about. It was just super intense. It was like, what? And it was like DMT, and he says the whole name for it, but DMT is like one of the melatonin derivatives. And one of the reasons why he makes us do that meditation at 4 o'clock is because between 1 and 4, we have the highest production of melatonin in our body. So you do it at 4, and like in his 10-day follow-up retreat after this, he makes people do, he's like, me, less talking in 10 days. We do more work. So in those 10 days, he's like, people come at 2 o'clock at night meditating for 5 hours. Like he does not, because Brahma Muhurat and that whole thing, and he's research on that, but that happens in, the next part of this. But for me, I was like, you know what? I want to keep doing this work. The next one is in November. I'm not sure. I'm going to see if I'm going to go. I have a feeling I'm going to, but I'm going to leave it to my guidance. But it's just, it was, your body actually starts producing, like he's like, you're a mystic, you're a source, and you just start remembering all that frequency. And the beautiful part about his whole thing was he teaches you, so then you have context. For me, I need context. Once I have the context, then I can be like, you know what? Yes, I'm connecting to that in my body. All this stuff I just told you superficial. But in the teaching part of this, I'll teach you what he actually taught us. Like, of course, like I said, I'm not trying to teach his work, but I want you to get you prepped for all the things you can start doing instead of just being separated from the source within, the love within, and living life from this place of I need, I seek, I need, I seek. No, not necessary. Start getting aligned. Start being aligned. Start staying in that love that you are, the source. Like, it was just like this remembering. Even I was like happy, but it's a different kind, something shifted, something deeply shifted. And I've seen that happen in my clients and when we do deep breath work like that, because when you do breath work, you release all this DMT and all this stuff. We know data and research shows us that, like long meditative breath work results in, like a lot of you have done long breath work meditations with me, and it's really powerful how you change your body's oxygen, carbon dioxide blood chemical levels, because emotions, when we have a thought, we release 1400 chemicals of stress or chemicals. So if they're happy emotions or elevated emotions, we release that. If they're fearful emotions, we release, those related chemicals and hormones, which are connected to every center. So it was really powerful to learn all this information in depth, see all this research, see all this data, seeing all these people for fifth, sixth, like people from Australia, people from Colombia, people from London, people from all kinds of Canada, everywhere. People literally were from 85 different countries. And like I said, for some it was like second retreat, some it was like 13th retreat. I'm like, I don't know if I'll do 13 of them, but one more advanced and maybe one more this thing. Like, I don't know. I don't know for the future, but right now, everything that I learned, everything that I came back as was just so like, wow, like, oh my God, I'm like on fire right now. Okay. Would you like to ask questions? Would you like to share? What is your begin? Please explain when he frequently says opening your heart, what that means. That is on day 3. It won't make sense if I just tell you that answer right away. It has to be step by step. So I've created like this whole teaching series for all of you that I want to teach you. And like he starts with a thought, right? Because first, like we are so as human identified with thinking. Like even we think about our feelings instead of feeling our feelings, right? Like what do we do when we overthink, when we are ruminating and stuff, when we are hijacked by our fear or anxious patterns. So he starts the day with thinking, and then slowly by slow, like next day, then it's about emotions. The next day, it's about heart-brain coherence. The next day, it's about feeling those and elevated emotions and feeling them for a longer period of time. That's why he does like 3 meditations, because he literally wants your body to be as your future self as supposed to be your past self. Like some of this information you just can't unknow. At this point, you just know this information and are this information. So you can't unknow this. It just, with each meditation, it just deepens more. Like even all of you, when you do your, emotional frequency tracking and you do your HPP sessions, like the person you were 3 months ago, you are no longer that person. You just aren't. But if you stop doing this work, you're like, oh, snap, right? You know that it's such a big part of your mental and spiritual hygiene that you won't stop it at this point. Questions?
So I have a question for you. The question is, when you did when you did this meditation, there is a change that is happening. Did you did you did you observe that there is a maybe your heartbeats went down, or sometimes because your oxygen level is high, you're not breathing, because we breathe because we need oxygen. If I have oxygen that I all need, I will not breathe. It's a normal logic. So is there any kind of experience like that?
So yes and no. We take 24,000 breaths a day.
Hmm.
Most of them are not intentional, right? Like in the breathwork world, I knew this even before going into his world. When we make them intentional, we are literally because when we breathe like this, we put our body in alpha states, which is relaxed states. Like our breath is an on switch to parasympathetic nervous system, which is the opposite of stress. It's like rest and digest. When we're conscious and intentional about our breath, we automatically stay in those states of life is ease, like chill, right? But most of us have not practiced that or not know this. So life is always running, chasing, hustling, right? When you're in the meditation, you're not thinking, right? So you don't know what's happening with your breath. You're just doing what he's guiding you to do. Because he starts you with heart coherence, and then most of his meditations is pineal gland, perineum to, pineal gland. That's what he'll say. And the music changes and the whole thing happens. And then boom, 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 boom. But I could see on my Garmin where my resting heartbeat had changed as I kept going through the days. My resting heartbeat was quite high when I first showed up to it, and then I could see on the Garmin because I was a part of that study, and they just gave us a Garmin which we had to give back. Normally they just let us keep the Garmin, but they wanted to use it for the Denver study, so they took it back from us and they collected all this data. Like we had to send a picture. They even said like people when they saw data, they saw like we had to take a video every day of what our experience was, if anything changed because of the meditation. and blah blah blah. So 2-minute video we had to do, and they literally take people's, and he's like, we literally saw people's faces change on day 8th or day 7th versus on first day, the same subjects. So literally people, like when they say age younger, they meant it in terms of facial expression, in terms of language, in terms of all these other changes that the body, the biology, the genetics, the heart rate, the oxygen levels, right? Like my oxygen levels was more in rest and digest because we were breathing, I mean, meditating for 3-4 hours every day, hour and
Yes.
a half, hour and 10 minutes. So I could tell I was more relaxed. I was on a beach. I didn't have to sit here and worry about are we going to eat for lunch and what are we going to do next and grocery and all that. So of course your resting heartbeat changes. But the whole idea is that he wants to train you to even
Hmm.
be this person, even when you go back to life.
Correct. Yes.
Which is what we do in, in the Ho'oponopono and stuff. Like I tell you, 90 days, you have to keep doing it because you're like trying to change while you're triggered by the world, left, right, and center. But if you don't come, like you yourself shared, right? Like 2 weeks, my BP level is different. But you've been
Right.
doing the work religiously, so of course it's different.
Absolutely.
You've been doing the
Absolutely. And
work.
yeah, the reason I was asking you is because my experience I shared, right? After
Yeah.
doing a Ho'oponopono for 2-3 times a day, my blood pressure went down, like drastically went down. Even
Yeah.
110/70, it's below that, systolic and
Yeah.
diastolic. Then if I, along with that, if I do this meditation, probably I'll take my heart in hand and move around. Don't, no need. I'm just joking, but
You'll
I'm
just be in
saying
this
that
state. Right.
yeah,
Right.
it will be more. I think
Yeah.
coherence is happening more with the brain, and that is the reason why it's changing in those 7 days.
Right. Yeah.
Correct?
Because he's like 7 days, you're transforming. We say, like I say 90 days because I want that consistency, that neuroplasticity happening while you're in your environment and doing all the things in 90 days. Because again, you have to do the work. Like we're doing 1 hour a day, 40 minutes a day. So of course it's more. The more work you do, the faster you change because you're no longer identifying with your past self, but you're creating the future you. You are no longer triggered left, right, and center.
Looking forward to session where we will actually
Yeah.
actively do the pineal gland meditation.
Yeah, so that'll be part 3. I think the next part to this is I want to teach you all what I've learned because there's so much knowledge, and I don't think I can teach you everything that I learned because that is my perception. This is totally me taking full ownership. As I'm not trying to replace his work, I'm not trying to teach his work. I'm just trying to teach you and share with you my experiences, what I learned, and like all these notes that I took and I came back with. So I just want to teach you what I learned, right? And how it has changed my life. And maybe it can sow seeds in you that can start growing where you start really, like when he says thought, like when in the manifesting world, we have heard this, right? Thoughts become things. And it couldn't be more true. Like literally we have to choose each thought wisely. We have 70,000 thoughts a day. Not all of them come true, but we can choose wisely which one we choose to focus on. What we focus on grows. Where the attention goes, the energy flows. So that's why we do this whole DMP and affirmation and this and that. But if you're not feeling the emotions, if you keep feeling the emotions, or if you keep not have released the emotions of the past self, we don't have room, space for all the things we want to feel because there's just so much piled up on top of what we're trying to feel and be and become. So really powerful work.
So now you will be also going for the 10 days retreat for the follow.
I'm thinking about it, but again, I want to take a line. Like when I'm whispered, I do it. Like this thing, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I don't know when, in June. Like I just literally had this intuitive feeling where I'm gonna do it in summer. I don't know how everything is gonna align. So again, same. I don't know how everything is gonna align. If it's meant to be this year, I'll do it. If it's not, then again, there are so many people. We even heard stories where this one woman shared her stage 4 cancer. There's a whole story. I'll leave you with this story. She was this person from San Diego. She showed up, she shared her story. She was like, I had this tumor. I went to the doctor. She's this surfer person. Her name is Crystal, and the tumor grew, and the doctor was like, you have to have this surgery. And she was like, if I have this surgery, then there's I don't remember the exact terminology of her cancer and the stuff that she shared, but she went to 2 3 different oncologists. They all said that she had to have a surgery, but the surgery would change her, not for the good, right? So she was like, no, I'm going to wait till the surgery. And then somehow all this aligned synchronicity started happening in her life. She got this book. Somehow she's like, I don't even know. I asked all my friends, but somehow on my porch, this book called Becoming Supernatural just showed up. And I started doing Dr. Joe's work. And she's like, I asked everybody, did you send me this book? Did you? She's like, nope. And the doctor told her she couldn't serve. The doctor told her she couldn't sit properly. She got to a place in her cancer journal where the tumor then, it was like sacral, like not sacral, the sacrum, like the bottom bone cancer or something related to that she had. And she was like, I couldn't even sit at some point. I was sleeping and eating and it was just rough. Like it had started metastasizing from a tumor to then cancer. And it was just like, when she got the book. So she was like, she started doing the work. She started doing meditations and stuff, right? From before even doing that. And she's like, something in me just said, go to this retreat. But she was like, I didn't have any money because I had stopped working and I'd spent so much on doctors and going to so much stuff and all the things. And I didn't have any money to go to the retreat. So she had applied to the Give to Give Foundation, his foundation, to go on this retreat. Somehow she got approved. So she went and she's like, I went to this coherent healing, and I thought I was going to be levitating or something and having all these experiences, when I was in the coherent healing, but nothing happened. So I was a little disappointed. Like I said, like everybody's experience is different. And then she was like, I became a healer. Like I was also offered to be a healer in that. And when I heal, like this jolt of lightning and love and all this stuff went through me, and that experience healed me. And since I came back, I just started meditating every day, 2 3 times a day. I was just meditating. And it's been 7 years, she said, cancer-free, in remission, serves, does all the things the doctors told her she couldn't do. And she's like, I am on this journey to prove to the whole world that if the doctors tell you that not to do something, it can be 100% done, if that's what your mind and body and thoughts and emotions say you want to. So I'm here to prove the doctors wrong. That's her life's mission and journey. She's been in remission. She's doing all the things the doctor said she couldn't do. But she was like, some meditations were rough. Some meditations were like, I don't even care. And yet she kept going. Like he has this whole group of coherence healing. If you ever attended this retreat, you can go sign up and do coherence healing or ask for coherence healing and things like that. So really powerful work, I think. Tell me your one big takeaway from today. Not that I taught anything, but one thought.
So more, you know, have a goal of doing a coherence between your heart and the brain. That would be my goal. That would be my take.
Interconnect. Absolutely. When it is coherent, you're in check. Things around you start to play out so beautifully.
Yeah.
Create from wholeness. Yes. No lack. Yes, go ahead, Arya.
Yeah,
Create
for
from
me,
wholeness.
takeaway is just don't ask how, don't ask when, just
Thank
do
you.
it and align it. That's it. That
Yes. We get
that we
so
have
wrapped
to
up in
keep
the how.
reminding we have to put the reminder. Don't ask
Yes.
how, don't ask when, just keep your alignment straight. What you're looking
Since I
for.
came back, one of my thing on my phone, I set a reminder. I have an iPhone, and it's like every hour it reminds me, connect to source. I'm like, I can't forget. Source
For
is
me,
the
it's to
unknown,
align with
right?
the frequency. Align with the frequency.
Right.
Align with it every
Like
2 hours, and
literally, I see
everyone
it, and
get
I'm like,
annoyed so
oh.
much. What is this? Make it align you with your frequency right now. Then they say, "No, Babaji, keep quiet now."
that
Dr. Joe
that
said that's the energy.
Oh my God, Amit, his experience. Natalia says that his experience. So he stopped coming after the third day. He's like, I'm done. Like I'm meditated out. I'm gonna go out there and have beer, and he did, and that's okay. He did. He made it to 3 days, which I'm very thankful for. He came home and he's practicing 10 minutes, 30 minutes. He literally I posted a group picture where he was like, Avik, lie down, think nothing, and then Avik's 7-year-old friend came back. And he's like, do you meditate? In this household, we meditate. And the friend is like, huh? Like 6-year-old. Like, what? And he's like, oh. And then they were doing this, like, what are 10 things you're grateful for? And the little kid, his friend Liam, He's like, I'm grateful for the whole world. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so cute. Like, this is who we were before we became all this, right? It was just like so cute. Like, it's okay. He can do whatever, but as long as Avik starts this work at 7, I'm sure by the time we get him to 13, he'll be in check meditating. Inspired aligned action. It's okay to be bored and rest. That, like, to me, it was just like, we don't have to constantly be stimulated. Absolutely. So one of the things I would want you to leave, every one of you, practice more stillness, practice more pauses, practice more connection to that wholeness, to the unknown, because that unknown, the quantum field, and I'll teach you the science behind it, but the quantum field is just so rich. He's like, we fear unknown because we are conditioned to fear, because we are uncertainty. We identify with the uncertainty, as opposed to fall in love with the unknown, become nobody, become no time, become nowhere, become nothing, and from that place create. Because he's like, if you can predict it, you're creating from matter to matter. It won't happen. That's where it's like, don't worry about the how and when. If you're worried about how, it won't happen. All the synchronicities that has happened in your life, you were like, oh my God, you won't believe. I hear that every day in my community. Kunjani, you're not going to believe. I have a win. Yeah, I'm going to. And so his last thing that he said before he left us, he's like, don't bother me. I'm not going to sit here and see all your texts or anything. But if I see an email that says, Dr. Joe, you're not going to believe, I'll open it. Because he's like, when people tell me that, it excites me. So if you predict it, if you know how it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. So I want you to connect to the unknown. I want you to have that solid connection to that source within you. The minute you start your ridiculous stories, cancel, change it. Hormonal changes is amazing, right? Yeah, like we change our hormones. Stress, this I had learned even before him. Like one last thing, I get so excited. One last thing. So stress is root, right? Root is adrenaline. All the stress comes from everywhere. Like stress is one of the hormones. So most of the time, I learned it from her name is Dr. Amisha. And she's a holistic endocrinologist and internal medicine, but functional, one of those naturopathic kind of people, along with all this internal medicine stuff that she did. And she taught me, she's like, whenever women go get their hormones checked, doctors are like, hormones are in check, hormones are proper. Then why are they experiencing all these symptoms that comes with hormone imbalance? And one of the things that I learned in her book is really cool. If you want to read it, it's called Why Am I So Effing Tired or something. And, her book is called that. And she said, if you think of your hormones as a 7-lane highway, like in California, right? We have a 7-lane, everything is moving boom, 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 fast, right? When you have all this stress hormone, which is when you fear, when you have worrying, when you have doubt, you don't realize it, but your nervous system, your body, your subconscious mind is producing 1,400 chemicals in your body. Does you can't sleep, does your period are all, like people will come in my world and they're like, oh, my period has been this, menopause is that, blah, blah, blah. The pattern is worry. So of course you're jacking up your hormones. One meditation and oh my God, my period came normal, no pain. I'm like, it can be literally so fast, but we keep doing the same crap unconsciously every day. So when you have all this stress hormone releasing in your body, you are literally like blocking and causing an accident on that 7-lane hormone. I mean, on the highway, like a big truck with an accident on a 7-lane highway, that is stress. So it doesn't let insulin do what it needs to do. It doesn't let melatonin do what it needs to do. It doesn't let, estrogen, which is feel good, calm, compassionate. Ladies, you are great after your period 2 weeks. And then around your period, you're just like this dragon trying to spit out fire because progesterone is high and estrogen is not. Cortisol, the stress hormone, the root balance, literally causes so many changes. When you go to the doctor, it's not enough, but you see the change in your body. Your body is not, hormones are just these little enzymes, but they're so integral part of our life. And we imbalance, each energy center has a hormone system, endocrine system associated to you. So if we are constantly living from our bottom 3 centers, which is root, which is sacral, which is solar, the first 3 centers, we're living in survival and disrupting our body's natural flow. And we're like, oh, when I manifest and have this life, then I will be great. No, that's not your pattern. You won't be. Stop living in survival. Start living in creation. So powerful. Like it literally changes you. When you do this work, not just his work, but our Ho'oponopono community and all the things, really powerful. It's like, what? Like some of the stuff that was happening to me, Rekha, Ashwini, we were like, we have gotten this stuff in check. We're powerful manifestors. What the hell is happening to our body right now? It was crazy. Would really love to experience the hormonal changes in our body because of the meditation experience. Yeah. Like it's so powerful. Like even with all of you doing the Ho'oponopono stuff, and I know Mitesh wanted to study that, and I really want to study that myself one day because I'm just such a geek that way. I'm manifesting that whole research team somehow because I have seen in my own work, in my own life, in this whole Ho'oponopono experience and breath work and all the things, there are hormonal changes happening. I know it for sure. I know it. I just haven't proved it yet. So it's already done. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. I truly appreciate you. I know we were here much longer than we needed to be, but we will be back soon with the teaching. I'll tell you date and time. I'm thinking tomorrow. If you have time tomorrow, we'll do again noon. And then not noon. No, not noon. 10:30. If you can do 10:30 PST, we'll do 10:30 PST. Again, we'll go for an hour. We won't go for too long, but I want to teach you all the things I learned. And then the part 3 will be pineal gland and actually doing the meditation, so that you actually start doing this work every day. You can even download his meditation and do all this. It doesn't matter how you start doing it. The point is to start doing it. You change. Yeah. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, all of you. If you have any questions for the future, just write it down in the comments, and I'm so grateful for you. Keep creating from wholeness.
Thank you.
Love you all so much. Yay.
Thank you so much, Gunjani. It was
Yes,
amazing.
thank you.
Amazing.
Thank
Thanks a
you.